Across the vast and unforgiving savannas of Ethiopia, survival is not shaped by moments of calm, but by constant struggle. Each day unfolds as a new trial where even the most unlikely encounters can grow into legend. Among these is one of the most remarkable rivalries ever witnessed, a silent, enduring clash between baboons and lions. In this landscape, baboons are anything but defenseless. United, watchful, and strikingly bold, they challenge the very predators that dominate the plains. Lions, the undisputed rulers of the savannah, do not forget easily. What may begin as a failed hunt can escalate into something far more intense. Deliberate act of retaliation that disrupts the expected balance of the wild. Here in Ethiopia, collective awareness can be as powerful as claws, and courage can stand equal to raw strength. Every glance holds a warning. Every movement carries tension. There is no refuge for weakness, no room for error. In this world, a single moment of hesitation can shape an entire fate. On the scorched cliffs of Ethiopia's high plateau, currents of wind slip through jagged, dust-covered rocks, carrying the dry scent of parched earth and the faint murmur of a land that feels on the verge of collapse. There, within a restless troop of baboons, a young one witnessed something no juvenile should ever see: the fall of its mother, not at the hands of its own kind, but beneath the silent grip of a leopard, the unseen hunter of the thickets. From that moment on, the idea of retribution began to take root within the clan. Dawn crept across the plateau beneath a veil of pale mist. The wind moved through scattered shrubs, lifting dust and dispersing the quiet echoes of early morning. A group of francolines scratched through the leaf litter in search of insects until the deep, resonant calls of the baboons echoed against the stone ridges, sending them suddenly into flight. Timu, only a few months old, had just begun to take his first steps into the search for food and the difficult skill of climbing. Yet he was pushed aside by his own troop. His mother had fallen to a predator long before leaving him to wander alone among rocks and thorny brush. In his aimless drifting, he eventually crossed paths with other outcast males. At first there was only suspicion, but the cold of night and the ache of hunger forced them to share what little they had: fruit, shelter, and warmth. In that harsh openness, a fragile alliance emerged, bound not by kinship, but by the simple need to survive. As the years passed, no one guided Timu along the path of survival, and it was precisely that absence that shaped him. From a vulnerable and abandoned infant, he hardened into something far more formidable. His body grew strong, his features sharpened like fractured stone. Fear no longer held him still. Instead, it drove him to observe, to remember, and to anticipate. Many believed he would not last yet among thorns and constant threats he endured. He learned how to find food, how to evade hostile claws, and how to choose safe places to rest. At one point, a lioness shadowed his group for days, her amber eyes watching from a distance. That golden presence would appear at dusk, forcing them to shift their paths and routines. Without realizing it, this relentless pressure awakened new instincts within them. Silent coordination glances that carried meaning and a constant readiness to face danger. In Timu's mind, the loss of his mother never faded. It was more than memory, it was a quiet force that drove him forward. He understood that before settling any unseen debt, he had to grow stronger and confront a world already fractured from within. Every scar, every sleepless, freezing dawn, and every brush with death forged him into something new, resilient, cunning, and formidable. While Timu was being shaped into a hardened survivor among rock and thorn far from the plateau, another creature was also evolving, its existence defined by intelligence, and the ability to adapt. Not far from the baboons' range in a shadowed valley wrapped in the density of night, a low, cutting laugh broke the silence. One not of joy, but of intent. It was the unmistakable call of the brown hyena, a discreet and often overlooked predator compared to more renowned hunters. Among them stood Narka, a female who had lived long enough to witness the rise and fall of 2 generations of baboon leaders. Narka did not possess the size or regal presence of a lion, but she held something Timu was only beginning to understand: the patience of a true hunter. She was more than a fleeting shadow among the rocks. She had become a bold explorer of territories few dared to enter, including the windswept, salt-laced coastline of Ethiopia. The sun now ruled the sky, and the sea cast blinding reflections that shattered against the cliffs like scattered sparks. Along the rocks, large male sea lions lounged heavily, their dark coats glistening as they grumbled and yawned, competing for the best resting spots under the heat. Closer to the shoreline, newborn pups, still marked with faint spots, lay clustered together, unaware of any danger, lulled by the rhythm of waves and the heavy scent of salt in the air. This was the moment Narka had been waiting for. She moved across the soft dunes, slipping between coastal shrubs before suddenly freezing in place. The fur along her neck bristled. The wind had shifted, carrying with it an unwelcome scent. A nearby black-backed jackal was on the move. There were no drawn-out chases, no explosive clashes, just a single precise action that secured enough food for her cubs on a cold afternoon. From a distant rise, Narka watched the shoreline in silence. The ocean continued to shimmer in silver light, unchanged, as though nothing had happened. But for her, that stretch of sand had already become part of her domain. A territory claimed not by strength alone, but by patience and stealth. As twilight stretched its shadows across the coast, Narka returned to the rocky den where small, gleaming eyes awaited her. The jackals had retreated, and she came back with enough to feed her young, a quiet victory unspoken yet decisive. While Narka's cubs slept tucked between cold stones, protected by the warmth of their group far inland, the dry plateau held a different story. Another community was beginning to shift. The baboon troop led by Raka carried on with its routine as if nothing had changed, but the atmosphere had grown heavy, unsettled in ways no one openly acknowledged. The scent of scorched grass lingered in the air, leaves whispered with restless movement, and the unusual silence among the females hinted at a tension no one could ignore. Raka, despite his age, remained a feared leader seated upon the great rock that had long served as his symbolic throne. His thick, dark mane was now streaked with gray, yet his gaze still held its edge. He would snarl when younger males ventured too close to the females, baring his teeth in warning, though his limbs no longer carried the same ukua and certainty they once did. His former strength had faded. For him, authority no longer depended on present power, but on the memory of violence still etched into the minds of the troop. Then one morning, a sound at the edge of the territory caused several Axalgazurda males to lift their heads in unison. On the horizon, a figure appeared strangely familiar, yet undeniably changed. It was Timu. There was no trace left of the fragile outcast he once was. He had returned broader, his muscles defined his expression as sharp as fractured stone. And he was not alone. Behind him came other males hardened by life beyond the safety of the group. Silence spread like a shadow. From his high vantage point, Raka watched closely. For the first time in many seasons, his eyes showed not rage but restraint and calculation. The confrontation could not be avoided, and when Raka finally fell, Timu did not build his rule on fear. Instead, he shared leadership with his allies, allowed the females to choose freely, and guided the troop with resolve rather than brutality. What followed was a rare balance and unfamiliar period where cooperation replaced intimidation. Was it the closest they had ever come to peace, perhaps? But in the wild, calm is rarely permanent. More often, it is only a thin surface, as concealing forces ready to rise at any moment. From the edge of the forest where dense vegetation gives way to the open plateau, a pair of golden eyes flickered in the shadows. No branch snapped, no warning echoed. It was not a hyena nor a jackal. It was a leopard, the very predator that had once taken Timu's mother, and now waited again. Moru moved like a whisper through the dry canopy. A female smaller than the males, yet far more agile, silent, and deadly than most hunters in this land. She did not hunt for instinct alone. She hunted because she was a mother. 3 weeks earlier, she had given birth within a narrow, wind-sheltered crevice. Her cubs were too young to follow. Their eyes had only just begun to open, their fragile bodies dependent on her return. Every faint cry from the den was a relentless reminder Moru could not fail. She could not return empty-handed nor allow her scent to betray their hiding place. Above, the brittle forest stirred with the morning breeze. Leaves cracked softly beneath the careful steps of a group of antelopes moving toward a nearly dry riverbed searching for minerals in the salted earth. Closer to the ground, meerkats stood upright in turns, keeping watch while the others dug for insects. Their short calls, the scrape of claws, and the occasional low growl formed a constant tension that never fully faded. On the higher rock formations, vultures lined themselves against the wind, their gaze fixed on the territory where Timu had just secured his leadership. They did not descend yet, neither did they leave. They sensed what lingered beneath the surface, a quiet instability like embers hidden beneath ash. Amid all these layers of life, Moru moved without disturbance. Her body flowed between roots and brush with the ease of water slipping through soil. She did not disrupt the rhythm of the land, she became part of it. Here, no creature existed in isolation. All were bound by an invisible tension. When antelopes startled, meerkats fell silent and vultures shifted their wings, it meant only one thing: death had passed unseen. As afternoon faded over the Ethiopian plateau, the final light of day stretched across the land, like a golden veil of dust casting a fragile beauty that briefly concealed the danger beneath. Slanting rays washed over low grasses, twisted trunks, scattered stones, and the still fresh tracks pressed into the earth. In an open clearing, Timu's troop rested under the soft glow of evening. The young gathered near exposed roots, while some females moved cautiously outward in search of food. In the distance, the shadow of the Pshtim horizon began to spread like a quiet tide. Moru advanced low against the ground, nearly invisible within the dry grass. The wind favored her. She did not need to climb or hide among branches. For a leopard, when the terrain is flat, the light blurs vision and the troop lowers its guard height becomes unnecessary. Patience, distance, and perfect timing are enough. Yet this time, what seemed like the perfect opportunity concealed an unseen risk. Timu had been waiting for this moment. He had detected the trail, sensed the unnatural silence in the vegetation. And for the first time, his group did not retreat. In the deepening dusk of the Ethiopian plateau, where survival rarely leaves room for mercy, an old debt reached its conclusion. And Timu, the one once rejected and deemed weak, had become something entirely different. Not a creature defined by rage, but by the scars that taught him how to endure and ultimately how to redefine the rules of survival. Siberia is not merely an endless expanse of frozen ground or a land defined by shadowy forests where tigers roam. When summer arrives, these cold woodlands awaken, transforming into a vibrant ecosystem, where life surges back after a long, silent winter. Across the green meadows that emerge with the thaw, red deer graze peacefully, feeding on tender grasses and fresh shoots. These rich fields restore their strength, preparing them for the challenges that lie ahead. With the agility of their hooves, red deer move effortlessly across difficult terrain, whether climbing steep slopes or crossing deep stream beds. Their evolutionary history stretches back millions of years, reflecting an extraordinary ability to adapt to ever-changing environments. Emerging from prehistoric times, their reddish-brown coats have become a defining trait, allowing them to blend seamlessly into the dense forest. The impressive antlers of adult males are more than symbols of strength and dominance. They are vital weapons in battles for mating rights. Within the same ecosystem that sustains the Siberian tiger, red deer play a crucial role. By feeding on grasses and foliage, they prevent unchecked vegetation growth and help maintain ecological balance. At the same time, they are an essential link in the food chain, providing nourishment for the region's top predators. Far from solitary creatures, red deer often gather in groups of 10 to 20 individuals, typically guided by experienced adult females. Their appearance shifts with the seasons. In summer, the warm tones of their coats merge with shifting light through the leaves, offering natural camouflage. They possess highly sensitive hearing capable of detecting danger from afar, and when escape becomes necessary, they can reach speeds of up to 55 kilometers per hour, a decisive advantage against the hunters that pursue them. Summer in the tiger's forest unfolds as a season of color and movement when temperatures rise between 10 and 27 degrees Celsius. After months of winter silence, the landscape awakens into a dynamic and fertile world. Siberian pine trees stretch across the horizon in deep green layers, while larch trees cast soft, shifting shadows over the forest floor, creating perfect cover for a silent hunter, the Eurasian lynx. Its grayish coat, tinged with brown and scattered with dark spots, allows it to dissolve into bark and fallen leaves as if shaped by the forest itself. Emerging nearly 2 million years ago, this species has developed remarkable adaptations to survive the harsh climates of the northern hemisphere. Weighing between 18 and 30 kilograms and reaching lengths of up to 1.2 meters, the lynx balances strength with agility. Its short tail, dense, double-layered fur, and the distinctive black tufts on its ears are all essential features for enduring extreme cold. Its hearing is so refined it functions like a living radar capable of detecting the faint crack of a twig or the sudden flutter of a hidden bird. Within the same forest inhabited by the Siberian tiger, the lynx leads a solitary and elusive life. This environment is not only its shelter but also a hunting ground rich with smaller prey such as hares and rodents which form the foundation of its diet. By regulating the populations of these animals, the lynx indirectly protects low vegetation from overconsumption, helping to maintain the balance of the ecosystem. When it hunts, it favors the densest parts of the forest, where thick vegetation allows it to move unseen, closing the distance in silence before striking at precisely the right moment. Summer arrives across the plains of western Siberia as ice and snow withdraw, making way for a powerful resurgence of life. Great rivers such as the Ob River swell with flowing water carrying nutrient-rich sediments that replenish the lowlands. These waterways act like natural arteries, sustaining a vast ecosystem and ensuring that both the smallest plants and the largest animals find what they need to endure. In wetlands and open meadows, large mammals like the moose and red deer emerge to take advantage of the seasonal abundance, rebuilding their strength. At the same time, predators such as the gray wolf and the Eurasian lynx move silently through dense vegetation, using it as cover to approach their prey. Their movements are deliberate, almost artistic, each step part of a silent choreography where survival depends on precision. Beneath the gentle light of summer, the Lena River becomes a vital pathway not only for the plains, but also for the brown bear. Its fast-moving waters carry salmon returning from the ocean to spawn upstream. These fish provide an essential source of energy, allowing bears to recover quickly after months of hibernation. Salmon are more than just food, they are a lifeline. A single adult fish can deliver thousands of calories, and during peak feeding season, a brown bear may consume dozens of kilograms each day, building the reserves needed for the coming winter. With long, powerful claws, bears wait for the precise moment to seize fish struggling against the current. Each successful catch reflects instincts refined over millennia. Their thick brown fur blends naturally with riverbanks and forest shadows, offering effective camouflage. Beyond fishing, bears take advantage of other food sources found across the region. Tender grasses, wild berries, and roots from the wetlands complement their diet. This diversity not only ensures their survival but also supports the broader ecosystem. Seeds consumed by the bears are later dispersed across the land, contributing to the regeneration of plant life throughout the region. Under the clear blue skies of summer, the western Siberian plain stretches like a vast green tapestry where wetlands, dense forests, and winding rivers intertwine like veins that sustain the land. Within this tranquil setting, moose appear quiet giants moving steadily through marshy grasslands and shallow waters. Their presence is a reminder of life's resilience and nature's remarkable ability to adapt. Moose are the result of a long evolutionary journey that dates back to prehistoric times, shaped by cold climates and demanding environments. Over millions of years, they adapted to flooded forests and expansive wetlands across the northern hemisphere. From North America to Siberia, In this region, dense woodlands and swampy terrain provide the ideal conditions for their survival. Summer is when they reveal their full strength. With long, powerful legs often reaching over 2 meters at the shoulder, they move with ease through mud and soft ground, places where many animals would struggle. They favor areas near rivers, lakes, and forests rich in Siberian birch pine trees and larch trees, feeding on nutrient-rich leaves and fresh shoots. This abundance allows them to store the energy required to endure the extreme winter ahead. An adult moose can consume around 20 kilograms of vegetation each day, acting as a natural regulator of plant growth. Their role within the Siberian ecosystem is essential. By feeding, they help control vegetation density and maintain environmental balance. Even their presence shapes the land. Their droppings enrich the soil, while the deep tracks they leave in soft ground create small pathways that encourage the spread of grasses and shrubs, quietly supporting the continuous renewal of the landscape. When summer settles over Lake Baikal, its GBH deep blue waters seem to stretch endlessly toward the horizon. Within this vast and striking landscape lives the Baikal seal, the only freshwater seal on Earth, and a remarkable example of adaptation to an unforgiving environment. Yet today, its population, estimated between 70,000 and 100,000 individuals, remains far lower than in previous decades, affected by overfishing, pollution, and the growing pressures of climate change. Also known as the Nerpa, this species traces its origins back to ancient ancestors that once inhabited glacial rivers thousands of years ago. As the ice retreated, they became isolated within Lake Baikal, setting the stage for a unique evolutionary path that shaped them into specialists of freshwater life. They typically measure between 1.1 and 1.5 meters in length and weigh between 50 and 70 kilograms. A thick layer of fat combined with dense waterproof fur allows them to withstand the lake's cold temperatures. Their silvery gray coats reflect the summer light mirroring the sky above the water's surface. During summer, as sunlight penetrates the lake's crystal-clear depths, these seals begin their careful hunting journeys. They can dive beyond 400 meters in search of the Golomianka fish, a nearly transparent, nutrient-rich species found only in this lake. This fish plays a vital role in the food web and forms the foundation of the seal's diet. An adult may consume between 3 and 5 kilograms of fish each day to sustain its energy, travel long distances, reproduce, and care for its young. The Baikal seal's abilities extend far beyond deep diving. It is also highly agile underwater. Its large, light-sensitive eyes allow it to detect movement in dim environments, while its streamlined body lets it glide effortlessly through shifting currents. Every movement reflects precision and control traits of a well-adapted predator within its domain. Beyond its role as a hunter, the Baikal seal is essential to the lake's ecological balance. By regulating populations of smaller fish, it helps maintain the stability of the food chain and supports the overall health of the ecosystem, one that sustains a wide range of life forms. And so the battles of the wild reach their quiet conclusions, yet the struggle itself never truly ends. In this untamed world, there is no mercy, no second chances. Each sunrise brings a new trial, and each sunset leaves behind exhaustion, unseen wounds, and a silence that tells its own story. Here, survival does not belong to the strongest or the most beautiful, but to those who endure, to those who adapt, to those who learn from hardship and continue forward. In the wild, weakness finds no shelter, and even the smallest mistake can come at the highest cost. The victors do not celebrate because they understand how quickly balance can shift. The fallen are not forgotten, for their loss sustains the fragile continuity of life. Everything is connected: the hunter, the hunted, and the land that bears silent witness. This is not a cruel world, it is an honest one. A world where life defends itself with every heartbeat, and only those who stand firm can claim their place beneath the sun. There is no space here for fragility, only for those who endure. If this journey through the wild heart of the Serengeti has moved you, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel Beast Call Nature. Join us in the next adventure as we continue to explore, appreciate, and protect the hidden wonders of the natural world.